A Hezbollah drone attack has killed 4 Israeli soldiers and injured more than 50 others at a military camp in northern Israel. Israeli military radio says the swarm of drones hit an army base adjacent to Binyamina. Hezbollah says the strike was in response to Israeli attacks in southern Lebanon and Beirut on Thursday. The drones penetrated the Iron Dome, flying deep into Israeli territory to strike south of Haifa, reportedly without any alerts in the area. Now, diplomatic correspondent from the Times of Israel, Lazar Berman, says the destruction the Hezbollah drones caused is surprising.
The drones is something that Israel expected. It was the same type of suicide drone that Hezbollah has been firing for a year now. From the initial investigation, I can say that one of the drones was shot down. The other one, Israel chased with fighter planes, with helicopters, and then it dropped off the radar. I think the assumption was that it had crashed and therefore no sirens were sounded. And that's why these soldiers were caught in the dining hall. And that's why so many of them were gathered together. But certainly a very surprising, a very painful event when you have 4 soldiers killed. The numbers right now are 9 seriously injured, several more moderately injured. And then there's about 50 or so who were lightly injured. A really, really difficult incident, one that is a failure of the IDF to use its very advanced air defense systems. And this is not something that's supposed to happen. The IDF says it will learn lessons and it will make sure that this doesn't happen again.
And Israeli authorities still investigating this, so a lot of questions still to be answered.
That's right. That's right. And, as you know, that these operations continue in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah is able to fire from well beyond the places where IDF troops are. So it's not like the fire threat has been diminished. Airstrikes have taken out actually a significant number of the arsenal, but Hezbollah's rocket arsenal is so big that they are able to continue to fire hundreds of rockets a day. Now, this is less than the thousands that Israel expected, but it's a significant toll on the country, and Israel's northern border communities are still empty. Of course, the goal of the operation in Lebanon is to allow them to return.
We now have a 5th peacekeeper wounded in southern Lebanon. The Israeli forces have urged UN peacekeepers to leave their positions, but a spokesperson for UNIFIL says that they've made a unanimous decision to stay in the border region. What is the IDF saying about their plans to proceed here, and also what are you hearing about these plans?
Sure. I've spoken to sources within the government of Israel, not the military, and they say there's no plan to apply military pressure to UNIFIL. They say the plan is to apply diplomatic pressure to talk to them. Of course, there have been these incidents, and the Israeli government says that these were operational mistakes. They will be investigated. There was that one incident where 2 tanks went into a UNIFIL position. The IDF says that that was done during an extraction under fire after Hezbollah fired anti-tank missiles at IDF troops. The tanks backed into a position, stayed there for a number of minutes, and then left. And then they also say that Israel was in touch with UNIFIL troops the entire time and that there was no danger presented. So I think this will continue to escalate between the two. It looks like that Israel is going to continue to insist that UNIFIL forces move away from the border and away from combat areas.
The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres says these attacks on Lebanon peacekeepers could be a war crime. What's the reaction been to that in Israel?
Well, Israel, we have so much going on now, and the UN Secretary General is really not a very popular figure. Some of his statements have really enraged Israelis over the past year. So that statement itself, I think, isn't going to attract much attention from Israelis. The general sense is that the UN is, in general, not especially friendly to Israel, and UNIFIL has not fulfilled its mission in southern Lebanon. Of course, since 2006, its mandate was to keep Hezbollah forces, armed forces out of southern Lebanon. The Lebanese army is supposed to be the only force there besides UNIFIL, and obviously that is not the case. So there really is a lot of frustration in Israel right now.
And finally, with the announcement of this missile defence system from the US, what is that telling us about the timing of this, given that we have Israel's move on Iran to come at any time, and also, the reliance on the US in this?
So I think the main significance of this is not actually the capabilities. Israel's missile defenses, as you know, are quite advanced, perhaps the most advanced in the world, but it's a sign. It's a sign that the U.S., the Biden administration, is standing with Israel, is actually going to put almost 100 troops on the ground with this battery in Israel to defend against a potential Iranian reaction or to deter an Iranian reaction. Israeli officials tell me that an attack will happen. They haven't said when and where and what the target is going to be, but they say as much as possible they are trying to coordinate with the United States, but if they need to, they will act in Israel's security interests. So this is something that the whole region is waiting for ever since that October 1st Iranian ballistic missile attack, which some of which got through, but most of which was intercepted.
Lazar Berman, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you.